workshops, seminars. She has beautiful retreats that people come out of feeling, I think, speechless. But people come from her retreats feeling very amazing is okay. Changed, empowered, enlightened, aware, woke, awakened. They feel like they have finally found themselves and can actually do more and finally be in this world more than they were before they met her. So Heather today is speaking Awaken to Love, and her message tonight is to help you as women, us. I keep saying you, what is wrong with me? I'm included. This message is for me too. This message is for me too. But we as women to wake up and find the love within ourselves so that we can be more, not just for ourselves, but for others. But it first starts with us, right? And so I am going to bring to the stage Heather Fantin. Big round of applause, please.
Hard hug.
Marcia keeps teaching me that.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It is so good to be here, and the light is very bright up here. I have to get used to that. So thank you, ladies, and one woke man for being brave enough to join us in this room tonight and talk about something that is very near and dear to my heart. First of all, thank you for the introduction, Clem. Thank you for creating this beautiful space. Thank you for Renessa to have the vision to have created this space for women to come together in a non-competitive, beautiful way where we're really here to support each other. And that is such an important place for us to be gathering. In a place where we can come together and show up and be our real, most authentic selves and connect and get to know each other and then support each other in our lives and in our businesses. And so thank you, Clem. Thank you, Renessa, for being here and for creating this space for us to gather. I don't know if any of you saw my Facebook Live yesterday. I have a new show called Soul Currency Live every Monday at noon, and I was pretty fired up. I was very fired up, right? There was a lot of energy running through me because I feel that right now, this conversation that we are going to be having tonight is one of the most important conversations we need to be having. The topic of awakening to love is the most important thing I believe that we all need to be doing, talking about more and more, because let's be honest, when we look around, when we turn on the news, when we get honest with ourselves, the world is in a lot of turmoil right now. There are a lot of things being brought to light. And just a little background about me, I've been on this journey of awakening and transformation for over 20 years. And there is someone in the room who knew me way back when, before my awakening, and when I was in a lot of darkness myself, when I was in a stage of my life where I was experiencing what is known as a dark night of the soul, going through a lot of trauma, experiencing things that I don't wish on anyone else. But I went through those things, and there was a moment for me, a moment of awakening. I was 18 years old, you guys. I was so lucky to have been on my knees in surrender, saying, show me a better way. I knew that there was a call on my life, that my pain had served a purpose, and that I was here for a reason, and that I had a lot of work to do. I had a lot of work to do, first and foremost, to awaken, heal, and transform myself, body, mind, and spirit. And that I needed to do that and continue to do that the rest of my life so that I could show up and be the light and be the example for others who are going through a similar process of awakening. And so tonight we're talking about how to become magnetic to love. Becoming magnetic to love, to me, is all about being in the vibration of the love that you seek, returning to your most essential nature, your truest nature, which I believe is love. I grew up in a Christian home, and I was taught that God is love. And I was also taught that we were made in his image. So logically, my conclusion that I drew is, I must be love. If I was made in his image and God is love, I must be love. And although my mind has been opened and I've studied many different spiritual traditions all around the world, and I embrace all belief systems and backgrounds, and I'm very open in that way, I come back to those simple truths. And I feel so grateful that I was taught that. And for me, and this is the way I've been describing it lately, that I believe we have this internal compass, and our true north is love. And anytime we are out of alignment with true north, we feel a sense of disconnect. We feel a sense of separation. We feel pain. We show up in a way that doesn't feel good when we are behaving, thinking, acting from that place that is out of alignment with our truest nature, which is love. It does not feel good. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Leaves that bitter chemistry in your body. It does not feel good to be out of alignment with the truth of who you are, which is love. And so my work, and it's developed and it's evolved over the last 20 years so much, and it continues to do so, is really about helping you, helping the women in this room and the men that I work with, the incredible men who are waking up and saying, I want to know how to do this too. There's got to be more to life than this. And I love working with the men that I do work with because they are incredible and they are ready. Ladies, we've got to do the work for ourselves, but we need to be encouraging our men to be doing this work too. You hear me? We've got to get everyone to a place where they are open and curious about this idea. What does it mean to be awake in love? To be living from a place of our truest alignment, our true north, which is love. And so I have seen over the years that there are stages to transformation. And I'm going to talk about that tonight because that's my signature system that I walk people through. And I'm actually going to be sharing something with you that only my closest inner circle have heard, and there are several of you in this room. And it's going to be the content of my first book that I'm in the process of writing right now. And I'm going to be sharing with you the process, these 5 phases of transformation that I have seen over and over and over again. And in the last, I would say, 5 to 6 years, or even longer than that, 8 years, I have noticed that the amount of people waking up is so much more. Even the last 2 or 3 years, people who are young, who are waking up today, they're getting it fast. Because there's so many people who have already been on that path and who've been holding that space energetically and collectively. And so people who are waking up today, they get it. Those kids from that high school, their response to the shooting, if any of you saw that, they're awake. They get it. They understand common sense, which is something a lot of the adults in this country don't understand. I would encourage you to go back to my Soul Currency Live from yesterday because I talk very passionately about what's going on and my personal perspective on it. Some of you in the room know me, but many of you don't. And after my moment of awakening when I was 18 years old, I found myself in Hawaii. And my inner guide, because I've been listening to that voice that is guiding me ever since that moment, and my inner guide said, stay in Hawaii, do not go back to Seattle. Seattle is not good for you. It's time for you to heal. And so I stayed. I was 19 years old. And by the time I was 20 years old, my inner guide said, it's time to leave Hawaii and it's time to leave the United States, because you know what? You need to understand humanity. You have to get out of America, the matrix of America, so that you can help humanity to heal. And so that's what I did. I bought a one-way ticket and I left the United States, and I was gone for 12 more years. And I traveled around on a very extended eat, pray, love journey. And I lived in Europe, and I lived in Southeast Asia, and I lived in India. And I studied with ancient healers and traditional healers and modern healers. And I went deep into inner work when I lived in Germany. And that's where I understood what it really takes to heal. I thought I had done a lot of healing at that point. I was 10 years onto my journey of healing at that point in time. And when I found what I now affectionately call the real work, which is the inner work, it's not the fluffy, feel-good stuff. It's the diving deep stuff. It's the stuff that most people are scared out of their mind to do. But I'm here to tell you that the path is the real work, and that is the path to personal freedom. That is the path to awaken your heart and awaken to love. And so I'm going to take you through this process, and this process, the first stage of transformation, is what I call the wake-up call. And I'm sure that you're here because you've heard this call in some way in your life. There are no mistakes. There are no mistakes that each and every one of you are here tonight. You're here for a reason, and you are here to hear this message. On some level, your soul knew, I need to be there tonight. And it might be some of the women that you connect with and the healing and the relationships that happen as a result of being here. But you're here for a reason. And so that first phase of awakening that I call the wake-up call is because that's what it really is. It's when the carpet of normalcy gets pulled from underneath your feet. And all of a sudden, the life that you knew, that you thought was the life that you were supposed to be living, all of a sudden you start questioning everything. Saying, is this really all there is? Is this really all there is? There's got to be more to life than this. Whereas before you didn't question anything because you hadn't yet listened to that little voice that's been trying to get you to wake up and to see that there is a better way, to help you to become aware that you were out of alignment with your true north, and that you needed to go through a process of awakening and healing and transformation in order to get back into alignment and be the light and to choose love. That's really what it's all about here. And so the most important relationship that you will ever heal, I'd love to hear what you think the most important relationship you will ever heal might be. Yourself. What aspect of yourself? Oh, you cheater. She's in my group. I should have premised that by saying no Soul on Fire tribe members are allowed to answer the question. It's your inner child. Does anyone here who has heard of or knows something about the concept of the inner child? Quite a few of you. And over time, I have come to realize that this is the most important aspect of yourself to heal, because that is where all of the patterning and all of the programming and all of the projections come from. That is where the fear-based thinking of this world, that's where that program got instilled, is when you were a child. And all of the work that I do with inner work is really helping you to heal your story. So that first part, the wake-up call, you start to become aware. Maybe it's me. The second phase is about enlightening your mind. It's about illumination. It's about uncovering and becoming aware. Awareness is the next phase. You start to get into this phase where you start to see things as they truly are, and you start to recognize, I am the common denominator in all of these failed relationships. And the most important relationship I help you heal is the one with yourself. And from there, all of the other relationships and all of the other healing you're seeking fall into place. And so you heal that part of yourself, and it's an interesting process, and it's one I'm continuing to go through. When I come up with something where I'm getting into fear, where I'm getting into the comparison trap, where I'm getting stuck in these thoughts that pull me down, that keep me stuck, that keep me small, I have to go, whoa. I feel this is where she lives. This is where the little girls and the little boys are inside of us, in your belly, just like in the womb. That's where that inner child resides, and we have to connect back to that part of us and say, I hear you. I know you're afraid. I know you're afraid because you still, for some reason, after all this work, believe you're not good enough. So I have to love on you, and I have to take care of you, because it is my job as an adult to parent that part of myself that needs my love, that needs love and attention and affirmation, and that she needs to know she is enough. And so there's a part in you inside that needs your love, that needs your love. If you find yourself in relationships where you end up not getting your needs met, where you end up getting really irritated with your partner, where you end up getting disappointed, where you get into situations where, when your partner, especially those closest to us, they are our greatest teachers, they are our mirrors, they are an aspect of ourselves, they are mirroring back to you the aspects of yourself that need your love and attention, that need your healing. And so when you start to get triggered by the people closest to you, this could be friendships, it could be political figures. A lot of different people in our lives trigger us. And whenever you get triggered, that's your indication to go, I wonder what's really going on here. So when you're in that process of illuminating your mind, because it's all here, illuminating your mind, when you're in that process, that's when you start to take the stance of the witness or the observer. So when you try to sit down, and how many of you have tried to sit down and meditate, and you're like, I can't meditate, my mind's so busy, monkey mind, crazy what's going on upstairs. When I sit down and I actually get quiet, guess what? You hear all the noise for the first time. That's what's going on all the time. That's what's going on all the time. It's running in the background. And so when we sit down and we get quiet, we actually hear what's going on. We hear it for the first time. And so we become aware, but in that moment where you become aware that you're having all of these thoughts, who's aware if you're aware of your thoughts? What part of you is that is aware? That's your true self. That's your true nature. That's your essence. That's your soul. You are the witness. You are the one witnessing this life and all the crazy and all the talking and all the chaos and all the drama. You're the one witnessing it. So that's why when you get quiet, you hear your thoughts. You are aware of your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. And so you become intimate with this idea that you are the observer. And so you learn to witness. I teach this to my clients, to drop back in and to look at it, create separation from whatever story you're creating that is coming from that deeper programming, from that sweet, innocent little wounded child inside of you that's creating a story, that's taking things personally, that's making it mean something about her, because the world revolves around children. They make it personal. So parents are going through tough times. The child makes it mean something about them. And no matter how great of a job our parents tried to do, they messed us up, let's be honest. And all of the parents out there, and when I'm coaching parents, I'm like, don't worry about it, you're gonna mess them up. Don't worry. You're getting the tools now to do the work, and you can show up and you can be the example, right? So once you start to become more and more aware and more intimately connected to your own patterns And all that programming, that deep programming, and all the ways in which you project your own stuff onto your loved ones and all the people around you, when you start to go through that process and you're illuminating your mind, then the next phase comes in and you start to embody your soul. You start to embody your soul because you're seeing things as they truly are. You're no longer caught up in the story, the illusion, the fear. You are getting separation, you're seeing it, you're dropping back into the essence of who you truly are, and you're going, whoa, how was I showing up like that? You start to question, so you have to get curious about yourself and how you're showing up and why you get upset, the things you get upset with, and the aspects of yourself that still need healing, because let's be honest, who does that? We don't learn how to do that. No one teaches us. We've got to wait until we're in a room like this and we get inspired and we go, well, I think I got some work to do. How are you showing up? How do you feel about yourself? What do you think when you look in the mirror in the morning? What relationships hurt you the most? Is it your friendships? Is it your partners? Is it your children? What upsets you, deeply upsets you? There's gold in there. There's gold in your story. And it's all about becoming aware so you can do the work to start embodying your soul and transforming your story. So embodying your soul is all about that beautiful work that I love to do, and that's the process work. That's the real work. And those of you who've been to my workshops know it's not easy, and it's not for everybody. Some people come and they're like, I can't do that. It's not my thing. Too much. The real work, the deep work, the cathartic work, because you got to get that energy moving. You got to get it moving up and out. The only way out is through. I promise you, the only way out is through. You have to feel it to heal it. That's just the way it works. I'm so sorry. There's no shortcut. You can't sugarcoat this stuff. You can't. It's not possible. You can find a way to convince yourself that it's not for you. There's a lot of ways in which the ego part of you tries to trick you into thinking that it's not the right time. It's not the right time. It's not the right time to do that work. It's the voice of fear talking that says it's not the right time, because the most important relationship you will ever heal is the one with yourself. You with you. You are your own worst enemy. You are the one holding you back from living the life of your dreams. Nobody else. Nobody else. You are the common denominator in all of your relationships. And so when you start to see this and you can get excited because you know there's a way out. There's a way out. I promise you guys, I'm living it. I'm embodying my soul. And through doing that process of embodying my soul, going through that process and discovering the truth of who I am, I get to then live an empowered life. So the fourth phase is all about empowering your life. And this is where you really get to go into a place of integration. Integrating all of the things that you've been learning, starting to walk the talk, to be the example, to show up and go, wow, that really hurt. The way that that friend of mine just responded, or I felt really upset about that. And you can come from a place where you are taking ownership over the aspect of you that is getting hurt. It's not you, and you don't have to get taken down by it anymore. But you can have courageous conversations. And those are some of the most juicy, most rewarding conversations that I ever have. Are the ones that are the most difficult, because you have the opportunity to get closer than with anyone else. That's where you go deep. And you're being witnessed, and you're witnessing someone else because you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable. And I'm sure all of you have experienced that. That when you allow yourself to be vulnerable with someone, that's where depth and connection, and I just live for that stuff. Live for that stuff. I am not someone who's here to live on the surface of life. I just can't even pretend to do that. My close friends who are here know that I'm very deep. Sometimes it's a little much because I'm always deep, right? I can laugh and play and have fun too. That's my inner child. So empowering your life is about having courageous conversations. It's about having healthy relationships. It's about putting everything into practice that you've been learning. Because, and this is something I've told my friends in Circle as well, is that one of the books that I'm going to write later down the road is going to be When Knowing is Not Enough. How many things do you know you should be doing, but you don't do them? All the things we know about ourselves and all the things we want to be implementing, but we don't do them. Knowing is not enough. Awareness is 70% of the transformational process. It's huge, you guys. Uncover, uncover, uncover some more. Continuing to unearth deeper layers within yourself so that you can set yourself free just a little bit more. And so you continue to uncover those deeper layers as you are standing more and more grounded in the truth of who you are, in your most authentic self, your true nature, which is love. In the unique way that you are being called to express love in this lifetime, through whatever vehicle your soul chooses for you. There is a call on your life. There is a call on your life, and I say this a lot as well, that we need all hands on deck right now. Do you guys hear me? We need all the light workers, all of the people who are courageous enough to face themselves, to take themselves on, to drop the illusions, to no longer be out there judging and criticizing and belittling others, including themselves. That they are willing to do the work. That's the embody your soul part. That's the part where you've got to show up for the work. And know that you're growing and that you're healing at the rate that your soul is ready to right now. And there might be something that I'm saying tonight that sparks something inside of your soul where you feel called to go deeper, where you say, it's time. It's time. I've been hearing this call for years now, and I know I've got to take myself on. But man, I don't want to. I would rather just stay in the comfort of the known. When the pain of things staying the same finally outweighs the fear of change, we are so deathly afraid of change. We are afraid of the unknown. It holds us back in every aspect of our lives. That which is familiar is more comfortable even when it isn't good for us. We get so used to it. We begin to excuse it. We begin to think it's normal. Mass shootings are not normal in schools. There are things that are happening in this country that are not normal in comparison to the world. And I can tell you that from personal experience. I have lived a considerable amount of time outside of the United States. We got some work to do, you guys. Some serious work to do. And this is the work. This is the real work. It starts here, as Gandhi says. Real change begins within. We have to be the change we wish to see, and it starts here. By me loving and accepting and embracing all aspects of myself, my humanity and my divinity, my shadow and my light, the darkness, the dark parts of myself that are stuck in the fear-based thinking of this world, so that I can emerge from that darkness and return back to light. And this is something I was saying yesterday on my Soul Currency Live, is that from the darkness always emerges light. There is always an opportunity for light to emerge from the darkest moments of your life if you are willing to show up and do the real work, to transform that tragedy into triumph, to transform that pain into purpose. There is an opportunity for you to transform your story into gold so that you live an empowered life and you say, you know what? Everything that happened served a purpose because I did the work to make it empower me instead of disempower me. Because the past holds you hostage in ways you have no idea until you start that process of awakening and you start to illuminate your mind and you start to embody your soul. And a lot of times people go through this period where they get really angry at themselves as well, because they finally realize they're the ones who've been holding themselves back. And they've been suffering for so long for no reason. And now they know they have a choice, that they can show up and actually do the real work to be empowered and free. And so the 5th phase of transformation is about awakening your heart. It's about awakening your heart. It's about that higher spiritual perspective, that higher vision, that higher call for your life, where you get to be so deeply anchored in the truth of who you are, and you're embracing and loving these aspects of yourself. You're reclaiming your power from your relationships, because you're no longer giving your power away by saying, the way that I feel, it's on you. You're no longer saying that. Because you know if someone is triggering you, you got some work to do. And then you get to show up and you get to set healthy boundaries. This isn't about allowing and accepting bad behavior. This is about saying no. This is not behavior I am going to accept. And you get to start setting healthy boundaries and showing up for yourself unapologetically, being deeply aligned in the truth of who you are. And so awakening your heart is all about keeping your heart open no matter what. No matter what. We've got to feel all the feelings. We're in the situation we're in because we didn't learn how to allow ourselves to feel whatever is happening. No emotion is bad. There are very appropriate emotions to certain things that happen in life and in the world. Very appropriate emotions, and anger is one of them. But we have to allow ourselves to feel those feelings. And some days I find myself in a situation where I might be feeling totally off. My energy might be totally off. I might be feeling all of the pain and all of the collective and even parts of myself that I'm facing. And I might be having a massive pity party. But I allow myself to feel all those feelings. And then I can drop back in and I can connect to my heart and connect to the truth of who I know I am, and I can comfort that inner child who's feeling afraid, who doesn't believe that she's enough. And I can remind her that she is. Because I have learned to reparent her, to love on her, and give her the love and affirmation of who she is that she didn't get when she was a child. All of us feel abandoned or rejected or hurt by our parents in some way, shape, or form, or society, or our teachers, or our siblings, or our neighbors, whatever it was that happened. There are a lot of women in this room who could say me too with me. I can say me too. It's time to heal those deeper wounds. It's time to awaken back to a place of love, to your true nature, so that you can show up and be empowered in love and experience deep, meaningful, passionate, blissful love. When you go through this process, life becomes magical. And you wake up and you get to say, thank you for this day. Thank you for the possibility for me to be alive, to be here another day, to witness and experience the magic of this life. And so I want to just invite you to be open just a little bit today. To open your heart, to be willing to open your heart even if it's been hurt. You are the love that you seek. The love that you seek is inside of you. Love does not come from any source outside of you. Those people in your life, those situations in your life may remind you, may activate that feeling of love inside of you, but the feeling comes from inside of you. It doesn't come from anyone else. They might just be holding up the mirror to show you the truth of who you are, which is love. And so those people in your life who help to remind you of that, bless them, thank them, but remember the true source of that love and that feeling of satisfaction and joy and fulfillment and creativity and passion and purpose. It comes from within. And a lot of times we got to do the work to clear all the stuff that's been in the way, that's been blocking our light, that's been blocking our true nature, that's been blocking the love that we seek. So my hope is that this introduction to what I affectionately call the real work inspires you, encourages you, because you know what? It is the path to freedom. It is the path to freedom. And for all of you to live in the light of love in your own heart, to activate the essence of love in your own heart. And I have a workshop coming up, and many of you have seen the flyer that I passed out. And it's coming up on March 17th. And I created this workshop, and as I was writing the copy for the workshop, I was in tears. This hasn't happened with any of the other workshops that I've done. I've done a lot of workshops. Every time I'm creating new content. Love creation. I love the creation process. And there's something about the essence, the energy, the intention, everything that is going into this workshop that is going to be absolutely life-changing. And we're going to go deep into these patterns. We're going to go deep into healing that beautiful relationship within, that most important relationship, and activating that place inside of you that knows the truth, because there is a part of you that always acts on your behalf. The voice of your inner wisdom, the voice of your inner guide. It's the voice that when you get out of a relationship and you go, you know what, I really did know. I knew, I saw, there was red flags from the beginning and I just didn't listen. Who weren't you listening to? It's the voice of your inner wisdom. And so what I want to do is I want to help open and activate that part inside of you so you can stop asking all your girlfriends for the answers that are inside of you. You know the truth. That part in you knows what is best for you. That part in you always acts on your behalf. That part in you loves you more than anything. That is the truth of who you are. And you get to start to cultivate a deeper relationship with your intuition, with your inner guide, with that higher wisdom, so that you can start to live from that place. That part of you needs to be in the driver's seat. Not the perfectionist, not the inner critic, not the inner child. Those parts don't have any... They're not supposed to be driving your life. But how often are they? The voice of judgment, the voice of anger, the voice of comparison, the voice of criticism, that part in you that holds you back because it's not perfect yet. Or the part in you that's throwing a tantrum because it's your inner child driving. Those are not the parts that are supposed to be driving your higher self is. So you're going to meet her. Let me tell you, she's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible, and I can't wait to meet her with you, because she needs to be the person driving your life. So I want to invite you to join me for this workshop on Saturday, March 17th. It happens to be St. Patrick's Day, so wear green. And I have a special offer for you here today, and I'm going to pass out a sign-up form. If you can't make it to the workshop, but you'd like to do a deep dive with me, you can check the box to do an initial breakthrough session with me instead. I do one-on-one coaching and I do group coaching, and it's life-changing. It's the real work, you guys. And I would love to support you to return to your true north so that you can start living from that place, becoming magnetic to the love that you seek. And so if you sign up today, I'm going to give you a coaching session after the workshop to help you integrate and embody all that you broke through, that you transformed, that you uncovered. Because there's a lot of processing that happens after the workshops. And those of you who've been there know, right? There's a lot that gets stirred up. There's a lot that needs to be addressed after such a deep, immersive day. And so I'm going to offer you that coaching call. And all the information is on your flyer. And I also printed out, I had these made, and it's a prayer that I pray when I wake up in the morning. because I think this is so important for me to stay aligned with my true north. And the first thing I want to do when I get out of bed is start with gratitude. And so I'm going to say, as soon as my feet hit the ground, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day. Life is a gift. Life is a gift. Life is a gift. It's a miracle that you're alive, that you're breathing, that you're here today. And so how can I spread more love today? And this prayer that I've been praying since that moment of awakening, of saying, how may I serve? Use me, guide me, show me. And then the last 4 lines are from A Course in Miracles that says, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say, and to whom? And so I invite you to frame this, if you like it, to put it somewhere close to your bed, so that the first thing you see in the morning is this, to remind you to get in alignment and to be open to being guided on your path. And so I hope that you enjoy this and that you use it. I would love to stay connected with all of you, those of you I don't know yet, and those of you I would love to connect and deepen relationships with. We've got some serious work to do. And so let's join together and continue to do this work together. Thank you so much for being here, for listening and holding space for this talk. Thank you.
All right. Okay, that was a special treat. And I hope you felt that. How many of us out there are mamas? How many mamas out there? And have you ever had those gut feelings, that voice that told you, little Timmy's not going where he's supposed to go? But you didn't listen, right? How many of you out there are business owners? We have a lot of business owners out here. That's Girlfriend Success Circle is all about supporting our women in business. I've been in business for 20 years, 5 in financial services and insurance, and then 15 years in fitness. And there's 3 very distinct times in business where I heard a voice, and 3 times I ignored it. And it was not good. So if you could do yourself a favor and learn to get in tune with the inner person, that inner self, you, to get in tune with you and learn to connect with you, you would have richer relationships with your clients, with your employees, with your children, your spouses, your friends. Life is just so much better when you have met yourself and trust yourself. So, this is the beautiful part of what we do at Girlfriend Success Circle. Our founder, Renessa Strong, has a background in matchmaking and dating and matching the right people with the right people. I want to preface what we're going to do next by saying everyone in this room is not going to be best friends for life, not BFFs. But you're going to meet a lot of wonderful women, and the goal is to learn her story, make authentic relationships. You might not be customers, but you might, or associates in business, but you might run into someone when you're at an Illuminating Women's event, when you're at a Chick Chat or a Power of She event or a High Heel Goal Giver event. You might be at one of those events and say, hey, I met this one woman at the Girlfriend Success Circle, and I would like to connect you with her because I think you guys can do some powerful things together. So it might not apply to you, whatever you're learning from another person, but it could apply to someone that means something to you later down the road. What we're going to do is we're going to number off, and this, again, is the brainchild of Renessa from the dating. We're going to do like a mini dating, speed dating for women in business. If you choose to take it further than business, that is your prerogative. I am not judgmental. You do whatever you want with that relationship. But we're doing speed dating, and I believe Heather has a bowl here. Please make sure you have your business card to drop in that bowl, but also to exchange with your girlfriends in your circle. So I'm going to go down this line and number you off. Yes.
You do that, this is a drawing.
This is a drawing. Make sure.
To my workshop, and I'm going to draw one now. So if you have
We're drawing one now. Get your card in, but don't move yet because I need to number you off because we're really kind of behind. We're kind of behind. She's going to go around and put it in. Okay, this is my sister. If you've never met my sister, it's her first time in a Girlfriend Success Circle. She's number 1. Matilda, you're 2. And we'll keep moving. And we're going to go to 12. Number to 12.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And then 1, Jennifer.